If your car is burning oil, do not brush it off as old car problems, because the real cause is usually not worn piston rings like everyone assumes. Today, I will show you the Japanese mechanic method to fix oil consumption without opening the engine. And no thicker oil will not save you. Ignore this and it can snowball into catalytic converter damage and a painful repair bill. Here are the quick checks you need to run first. Step 1. Inspect and clean the PCV system. Before you do anything else, check the PCV system. Because one tiny $10 part can make an engine burn oil like crazy, PCV means positive crankcase ventilation. Think of it as your engine's pressure regulator. It pulls blow-by gases out of the crankcase, then it sends them back into the intake to burn. But here is the problem. If the PCV valve is stuck open, it creates too much vacuum in the crankcase. That can suck oil into the engine. If it is stuck closed or clogged, pressure builds up. That pressure forces oil past seals and gaskets. Either way, you lose oil, and you may see blue smoke. Here is what to do. Find the PCV valve, pull it out. Check it. If it is old, sticky, or questionable, replace it. Most cost about $10 to $25. Then inspect the hoses and grommets. Look for cracks, brittle rubber, or sludge. Replace anything damaged. Japanese mechanics start with the PCV valve for a reason. But here is the twist. Even with a brand new PCV valve, your engine can still drink oil like water. Step 2. Engine flush. Now that the PCV system is working, it is time to clean the engine from the bottom up. This step targets the crankcase and the lower part of the piston rings. That is where sludge and varnish build up over time. Think of it like cleaning the foundation of a house before fixing the walls. If the bottom is dirty, nothing else works right. You will need an engine flush product like Waco Engine Flush or Liqui Moly. If you are on a budget, a small measured amount of diesel can also work. The flush is added to your existing oil. It will not harm your engine if you use it correctly. Here is the procedure. Pour the flush into the old oil. Idle the engine for 10 to 15 minutes. Do not rev it. Do not drive it. The flush needs time to dissolve sludge, varnish, and soft carbon in the lower ring grooves. Then drain all the oil along with the flush. This removes the contamination that was sitting under the pistons. Install a new oil filter. Refill with cheap conventional oil. This is a temporary rinse, not your final oil. Let the engine run briefly. Then drain that rinse oil too. Here is why this works. The oil control ring often gets stuck from soft carbon and varnish. Cleaning the lower ring area first frees movement, and it sets you up for the step that actually changes everything. Step 3 is where most people either win or waste their time. Step 3. Piston soak. This is the most important step in the whole process. If oil burning is caused by stuck rings, this is the step that actually frees them. The goal is simple. Put a strong cleaning solvent directly into the piston ring grooves where carbon locks the oil control ring in place. Pouring additives into the oil or fuel cannot reach this area effectively. That is why we go through the spark plug holes. Here is how to do it. Remove all spark plugs so each cylinder is open. Pour about 1 to 2 ounces of solvent into each cylinder. Many mechanics use a carbon removal product. A common choice is B12 Chemtool because it is strong enough to dissolve hardened deposits. Once the fluid is inside, loosely reinstall the spark plugs. This slows evaporation and keeps the solvent working longer. Now comes the part most people rush. Time. Minimum soak time is 12 hours. Better results happen at 24 to 48 hours. Severe cases can go 72 hours. Every 8 to 12 hours, rotate the engine by hand using a socket on the crankshaft bolt. Turn it about a quarter turn. This moves the pistons and helps the solvent reach fresh areas of the ring grooves. If you notice the fluid level slowly dropping, that is a good sign. It means the solvent is seeping past the rings. Exactly the same path oil was taking before. Now do not start the engine yet. There is a critical safety step. Remove the spark plugs again, place rags over the holes, disable ignition or fuel, then crank the engine for a few seconds to blow out any remaining liquid. If you skip this, you risk hydrolock. Hydrolock can bend a connecting rod and destroy the engine. Once the cylinders are cleared, reinstall the plugs and start the engine. Expect heavy smoke for several minutes. That smoke is dissolved carbon and leftover solvent burning off. It is normal. Let the engine idle, then take a gentle drive for 20 to 30 minutes. After that drive, change the oil and filter again immediately. The oil is now contaminated with solvent and loosened carbon. At this point, many engines already show reduced oil consumption. But do not stop here. If you stop early, you leave leftovers behind. Step 4. Crankcase rinse and fresh oil. After the piston soak, your engine has gone through deep internal cleaning. Carbon loosened, solvent seeped past the rings. Residue is now sitting in the crankcase oil. You do not want that circulating long term. Drain the oil that is currently in the engine. It may look darker than normal. It may smell like solvent. That is expected. Install a new oil filter. Filters are cheap compared to engines. This one will catch whatever is left behind. Refill with fresh conventional oil. Not expensive synthetic yet. This is still part of cleaning. Think of it as a rinse cycle. Start the engine. Let it idle a few minutes. Then take a short gentle drive for 10 to 15 minutes. This circulates oil everywhere and carries away remaining debris. Then drain the oil one more time. Now the rings are cleaner, the crankcase is cleaner, and the engine is ready for the next area that can bring the problem back. Step 5. Intake and combustion chamber cleaning. So far, you cleaned the rings from below and from inside the cylinders. But there is another carbon source that can restart the cycle: the intake system and the combustion chamber. Over time, carbon builds on intake valves, piston crowns, and combustion chamber walls. These deposits create hotspots. Hotspots increase oil breakdown and carbon formation. That can stick the rings again later. This matters even more on direct injection engines. Fuel no longer washes the intake valves like older engines did, so deposits build faster. Here is how this cleaning works. Use an intake cleaning spray fed through a vacuum line while the engine is running. Start the engine. Hold RPM around 2000. Slowly feed cleaner into a vacuum source like the brake booster line. Go slowly, so the engine does not stall too early. Once enough cleaner is inside, shut the engine off. Let it soak for 10 to 15 minutes. The cleaner softens deposits, then restart the engine. You will likely see thick smoke from the exhaust. It looks dramatic, but it is carbon leaving the engine. After restart, take a short drive to clear everything out. Step 6. Protective oil and filter cycle. Right now, your engine is cleaner than it has been in years. Rings are freer, carbon is reduced, contaminants have been flushed out. Now you protect those clean parts so deposits do not form again. Install another new oil filter. This will be your long-term filter. Fill the engine with a high-quality, full synthetic oil in the manufacturer-recommended viscosity. Do not jump to thicker oil unless you have a specific reason. If you are confused about oil grades, I made a quick guide comparing 0W20 versus 5W30. High-quality synthetic oil has stronger detergents and better heat resistance. That helps prevent varnish and carbon from building again in the ring grooves. Some mechanics add a small amount of a detergent booster or ring cleaning additive for the first few hundred miles. This is optional, but it can help remove microscopic deposits that were loosened during cleaning. Now drive normally. After about 500 miles, do one more oil and filter change. The engine may still release tiny amounts of loosened carbon as the rings settle. This final change removes the last contaminants and leaves the engine running on clean oil. Step 7. Long-term maintenance and prevention. If this method works, it can feel like a miracle. Oil consumption drops. Smoke fades, the engine runs smoother, but here is the truth. The carbon that caused the rings to stick will come back if nothing changes. So this step fixes the conditions that created the problem. First, oil quality matters most. Use a high-quality, full synthetic oil that meets the manufacturer's specs. Synthetic resists heat breakdown better and leaves fewer deposits. That alone lowers the chance of stuck rings. Second, oil change intervals. Do not stretch intervals too long, even if the bottle says 10,000 miles. Shorter intervals are safer for engines that already had carbon buildup. A good target is 3,000 to 5,000 miles for most vehicles. Third, avoid constant short trips. Short drives that never fully warm the engine allow moisture and fuel dilution to build in the oil. That turns into sludge and varnish over time, when you can include longer drives that bring the engine to full operating temperature. Fourth, check the PCV system regularly. Remember step 1. The PCV valve controls crankcase pressure. If it fails again, oil consumption can return fast. Inspect or replace it at least once a year or during major service. Fifth, periodic preventive cleaning. Some mechanics recommend a light piston soak or intake cleaning every 30,000 to 50,000 miles, especially on engines known for carbon buildup. The idea is simple. Do not let deposits build enough to cause trouble again. Now let us talk results, because this method can work extremely well in the right conditions, but it is not magic. If your oil burning is from stuck rings, which is very common, results can be dramatic. Many people see oil use drop within the first few hundred miles. An engine burning 1 quart every 1,000 miles, or even every 500 miles, may drop to almost no measurable loss between oil changes. That happens because the oil control rings can finally move again. You may also notice smoother idle, better throttle response, improved cold starts, less smoke. In some cases, compression numbers improve slightly because rings seal better once carbon is removed. Fuel economy can improve too, because the engine seals combustion more efficiently and burns less oil. But stay realistic. This works best when rings are stuck from carbon, cylinder walls are still healthy, and compression is within normal range. If those conditions are true, success rates are high. If the engine has mechanical damage, results may be limited or temporary. That is why the next part matters. When this will not work. This method works when the problem is carbon-stuck rings, not when parts are worn or broken. Here are the main cases where chemical cleaning is unlikely to fix the issue. Number 1. Scored or damaged cylinder walls. Deep scratches and wear let oil pass into the combustion chamber no matter how clean the rings are. Number 2. Broken piston rings or damaged ring lands. If a ring is cracked or the piston groove is damaged, cleaning cannot restore sealing. Parts must be replaced. Number 3. Severely worn rings. Over very high mileage, rings can lose tension. When metal loses spring force, it cannot press against the cylinder wall correctly. Number 4. Very low compression. If compression is far below factory spec or uneven between cylinders, it often points to mechanical, where not stuck rings. Number 5. Oil starvation damage. Engines that ran low on oil for a long time can have wear across bearings, cylinders, and pistons. Cleaning cannot reverse that. This is why a compression test before you start is so important. It is cheap compared to engine repair, and it tells you if you are a good candidate. There is also one rare situation. On extremely worn engines, carbon buildup can sometimes help seal gaps. Some mechanics call this carbon sealing. Removing deposits can temporarily reduce compression. It is not common, but it can happen on neglected engines. Now, which engines respond best, and why do some burn oil more than others? Engines with low tension, oil control rings, higher heat, or known carbon issues are often the best candidates. Here are common examples. Toyota 4-cylinder engines. Many Toyota engines from the late 2000s and early 2010s are known for oil consumption caused by clogged piston drain holes. When holes plug with carbon, oil cannot return to the crankcase. Cleaning often helps. Subaru Boxer engines. The flat design changes how oil sits around pistons. Heat can build unevenly. Carbon can form aggressively. These often respond well when rings are freed. General Motors 2.4-liter engines. Some GM 4-cylinders are known for stuck rings and oil burning. Chemical cleaning can improve ring movement when wear is not severe. BMW turbo engines. Turbo engines run hotter. Direct injection creates more deposits on valves and pistons. Intake and ring cleaning together can make a noticeable difference. The Honda 4-cylinder engines. Honda engines are durable, but long oil intervals and heat can still lead to rings sticking over time. Caught early, results can be strong. Nissan V6 engines. Some V6 models build carbon that affects oil control rings. Cleaning can restore normal oil use if compression is still healthy. Next, we cover risks and warnings so you do this safely. Most mistakes come from skipping steps or rushing. Number 1. Hydrolock risk during piston soak. Liquid sits on top of the piston. If you try to start the engine without clearing it first, the piston cannot compress liquid. A connecting rod can bend instantly. Always crank with spark plugs removed first. Number 2. Fire and chemical safety. Solvents are flammable and fumes are strong. Work in a well-ventilated area. Keep sparks away. Wear gloves and eye protection. Number 3. Heavy smoke after cleaning is normal. After the soak or intake cleaning, thick smoke can pour out for several minutes. That is dissolved carbon and cleaner burning off. It looks scary, it is expected. Number 4. Old engines with heavy wear. Some rely on deposits to seal gaps. Cleaning can reveal wear. This is uncommon but possible. Number 5. Sensor or catalytic converter contamination. Burning large amounts of deposits can temporarily affect oxygen sensors or the catalytic converter. Usually, it clears after driving. Extremely clogged engines carry more risk. Number 6. Incorrect chemical use. The wrong chemicals or too much can harm seals or dilute oil too much. Use reasonable quantities and follow the procedure. Number 7. Mechanical damage cannot be fixed chemically. Broken parts, severe scoring, and major wear require mechanical repair. The safest approach is simple. Do a compression test first. Follow every step. Take your time. Done properly, risks are low compared to an engine tear down. If you think this method is impressive, wait until you see what Japanese mechanics do to make engines last decades without major repairs. Those habits change everything.